famous story about Davy Crockett. He was campaigning on one of his terms, and he asked a farmer if he'd vote for him, and the farmer said no, because you gave us this money for this disaster. And he was like, well, I gave you money, I was trying to help. And of course, farmer was like, no, it wasn't your responsibility to do that. And I'm paraphrasing that story, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the point is, you know, it might not just be a pull yourselves up by your bootstrap thing. It might be that the reason they were so opposed to government help is because it can be weaponized. Yeah. And that's why they wanted to emphasize private charity or philanthropy. Just food for thought, because we're definitely seeing it being weaponized right now.
Yeah.
Across the ocean, literally the day, like a few days after Hurricane Helene, Kamala Harris makes an announcement, oh, by the way, we're going to send over $100 million to Lebanon. Meanwhile, you have people that are stranded in the mountains, still probably, in North Carolina. You have civilians who are taking civilian helicopters to go help these people. And then they go help the people. And you know who takes the credit for it? The federal government. This is crazy, dude. These people are so evil. It's mind-blowing.
State Guard, National Guard, they have no way to go get these people. Yesterday, when I was at the Asheville airport refueling, which, by the way, the civilian is paying all this out of his own pocket. He's not even looking for a reimbursement. I think we did 4 refuelings yesterday. And that was like just in half a day's work. We're in Asheville, and I saw 2 Air Force helicopter 60s. And I knew they were PJs, just looking at them. And I went up to them, I'm like, hey, guys, like, what are y'all doing? And like, this is what you need to be doing. This is how I'm finding people. And they're like, we can't go. We're waiting on Title 10 orders. And I'm like, what? They can't get any authority. There's military helicopters all over here sitting on the ground, and they can't do nothing. Even my JSOC boys in Fayetteville, they can't get orders to come out here. It is just the most disgusting thing, and they're killing these people. And I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know what kind of conspiracy. I've heard so many things, whatever you want to come up with, but they are literally allowing these people to fucking die in the mountains right now because we can't get helicopters. Jeez. They got money for everything else in the fucking world right now, but if they could just get us helicopters, we could fly out there and rescue these people. So I hope this video goes viral. Yeah. I hope these politicians get fired. I hope people get pissed off. They'll probably kick me out of the state of North Carolina for doing this, but you know what? I don't care, because if I can save one more life for it, it's fucking worth it to me.
Make this go viral, guys. Share this, please. Share this content, because this is like, they need to be held accountable for this. And too many people are going to be voting this November based off of personality and, oh, I love women. I'm going to vote for a woman to be in office because I want... It's like, great. If she can do the job, amazing. But right now, the current vice president isn't doing anything about this. She's doing, interviews on sex podcasts. She's doing interviews on talk show, late night talk shows, drinking beers while people are literally dying. She's tweeting about sending millions of dollars across the ocean. And I'll tell you what, if you see all this happening and you continue to vote for that, you're part of the problem too. It's just absolutely mind-blowing that...
She's also doing it because it's safe. She doesn't want questions about the hurricane. So she's going to all these different podcasts because she doesn't know how to take resistance.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
People aren't paying attention to this stuff. So I got one more clip here. And then I promise you, I got good news. But if you want your blood pressure to rise a little bit higher, watch this part.
And then also from that video, I started getting a lot of messages like to my Instagram from like actual like aircraft commanders, like squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala. And they never sent the bird.
Wait a minute, what?
They loaded an entire C-17 full of supplies for the hurricane victims just for Kamala to go there, take a photo, take a video, and they never sent the C-17. It was just
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was a National Guard, North Carolina National Guard unit. That was a 06 that reached out to me. And then I had another...
He reached out to you to tell you that they did a photo op and with the intention of never sending...
Never sent it. It was just a photo op. And then also from that video, I started getting a lot of messages like to my Instagram from like actual like aircraft commanders, like squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala, and they never sent the bird.
Wait a minute, what?
Dude,
That's crazy.
I'm done. I'm just done.
How cold do you have to be to pull that off? That's insane.
Crazy, isn't it? Why? Why would you do that?
Contempt. I think they just hate these people so much, or just think so little of people in general. Probably never even occurred to them that they should.
Well,
At least not to
honestly,
her.
Did it ever occur to them that they're even people at all?
Probably not.
You know?
Probably
There's-
have images of deliverance running through their head. And they're
Well, I
like,
mean-
who cares?
Yeah. It's a good movie, though.
It is a good movie. It's a little bit of a cartoonish impersonation of people, but sure, it's a good movie.
Oh, no, there are actual people who actually like them.
That will have to wait for another podcast. I don't know if that's another conspiracy theory thing or not, but
A Deliverance podcast.
deliverance, yeah. I just don't understand. You would think somebody somewhere on the chain of command would break orders and go, no, send that helicopter over there.
Okay.
Like it's not that bad people are giving bad orders. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that there are so many people listening and going along with it because they're scared to lose their job.
Well, it's like, why do bad people get away with so much? It's because good people are too scared to stand up and do the right thing.
Yeah. It's the numbers of it. Like, you understand some people are weak and they cave, but it seems like we're living in a culture where cowardice, at least in our government, is the norm.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to have weak people, as it were, sporadically throughout your institutions. It's another thing when the whole default is obey orders no matter what, even if it's against your own people. It's just mind-boggling. But I mean, yes, Kamala's evil for doing this. I don't think there's any debate about that. Or whoever's in charge of this, I don't even know. Who knows who's actually in charge of this thing, making these calls. But it shouldn't come as a shock that bad people at the top do bad things because they're bad, and we're not really living under the best ruler. We don't have the best leadership right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it stinks, but that happens. It's not surprising. What's surprising is the number of people that are willing to just go along with it, especially when we've had good leaders and there's contrast. We know what bravery is, and we idolize bravery in our culture, but for whatever reason, cowardice is still the norm.
Well, and not to mention they want us to feel like we can't do anything about it. They
Yeah.
want to keep us to where we can't do anything about it, and just to keep that mindset. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And as long as the people stay in that mindset, they're going to get away with whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Such as sending in a little bit of help to our own people.
Yeah.
They can send millions and millions and billions of dollars overseas, no problem.
Well, wars need to be fought. We got to keep that oil or whatever it is we're really doing out there. We ain't just fighting the Russians, that's for sure. We've got our own little objectives, whatever they are.
Yeah.
We got to get that oil. I think there was a Congress, I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, actually. She made a very interesting statement when they were debating about that bill that was going to go to Ukraine. She said, This is a bad business model. Just stop and think about that. I don't blame her for using that wording, but I imagine that she used that wording because that's the way these people are thinking up there in Washington. War is a business model. Your prosperity, your phone is built on the blood of other nations or some such thing. And I don't know if that's true or false, but there has to be enough people up there to believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene was willing to use that rhetoric. How terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah. But we can't, afford to help people suffering from a storm,
Natural
Yeah.
disaster.
Yeah.
Done. I'm done, dude. These people are so evil. Evil. It's not just incompetency, it's evil. There is absolutely something going on here. This is beyond, oh yeah, we messed up. How do you mess up so many things in a 3-year period, 3.5-year period? How do you completely mess up a withdrawal from Afghanistan, leaving American civilians there? How do you completely...
I'm glad people are finally asking this question.
Yeah.
Because for so long, people on the other, on the Republican side of the aisle have been going, it's incompetence. These people are stupid. And after a while, you have to go, no, they know what they're doing. This is all on purpose. I don't know if there's a plan, but there's certainly malice behind it.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to see that people are assuming evil is at play, finally.
Yeah.
And people have been saying it for years, but the majority of people wouldn't accept that for the longest time. Now that they have, maybe we can better understand how to get this kind of corruption out of our government.
Well, and that's what Chatfield here is trying to do. Is he's reacting to corruption, what he thinks corruption is, and then brings biblical aspect to it.
Yeah.
He's just trying to expose a little bit of time on his channel, and I like listening to it.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
Well, hopefully a lot of people are doing something similar. They're reacting to these sorts of videos and getting the word out, because if enough people do this, then, it won't matter what the government's plans are.
Yeah.
The people can, on their own, bring their own helicopters out and help people. Because this would be a lot worse if it wasn't for the individuals that are actually trying to do something.
Yeah. And that's another thing is Sean Ryan, other podcaster that Cap was reacting to. Sean Ryan has done some stuff like where you can actually sign up on these I don't know what they're called. But you can join the group and sign the thing, get certain paperwork rolling to change the narrative. And, that's the best way we can stand up.
So he's got petitions. Is that what you mean?
Petitions. That's it.
Okay.
And they're just, I'd like to see all these YouTubers and podcasters kind of unite, more or less, and get the word out better than they already have. I mean, each one of these guys have millions of followers and viewers.
Mm-hmm.
If they could somehow get the word out better, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know how. But...
Well, I mean, I think everybody just needs to, like I said, do what this guy's doing and, react to this kind of stuff. And if enough people do that, then people who have the resources and the means to help will know the problem and be able to do something. So, I mean, people are doing what they can. It's just we have it's not the people on the ground that are the issue. Like, this isn't necessarily an apathy in the culture type of thing. It's the people in charge. It's the people in the local law enforcement. It's the people in the military. It's the people in these institutions that have been trained to just follow orders and do their jobs. That's the issue. There is a culture of just blind obedience in our institutions and just kind of trusting that the people in charge have, if not, if they don't have it figured out, they have good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole problem. And that's why this whole narrative of, oh, these people are stupid is so detrimental. Because anytime the institution screws up, then the guys on the ground can go, oh, well, it was a mistake. Because they don't want to admit that there is active evil intentionally doing harm, and by following those orders, they are participating in that. That's a heavy pill to swallow. So it's easier to just assume that the government is stupid. That's my 2 cents on it anyway.
All right. I'm there with you.
Yep.
So, but the rest of this video, he talks about cloud verses and then he goes into the other hurricane.
Okay.
Milton. So if you want to keep playing that, we can.
Yeah, because I think there was a miracle of Milton.
Yeah,
honestly.
Milton was a level 5 for a while, and then it's died off.
Right.
What?
That's a miracle. That's a miracle. It should have just completely
straight up miracle
leveled the state, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, let's keep looking at that.
Completely mess up the economy? How do you completely mess up the border? How do you completely mess up, all these crazy things with transgender rights? How do you completely mess up a situation where you have Americans literally dying in the mountains in North Carolina because they're being flooded, and the U.S. federal government is not only not showing up, but we did a photo op, and we forgot to send the supplies to you guys, but absolute this is what the Bible says. This is why you got to stop trusting these people. These people are not here to help you. What does it say? It says in Jeremiah 17, verse 5, thus says the Lord, cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness and a salt land which is not inhabited. However, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose hope is in the Lord. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river and will not fear when heat comes, but its leaf will be green and will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. You know what I like actually about all the stuff that's happening? I hope it's taking your faith away from people in the government, these leaders who don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. But the Lord is a worthy place of your trust. In fact, he's a powerful place of your trust. You seen with Hurricane Helene, there was a following hurricane that happened right after that, Hurricane Milton. And the media was telling us that it was going to be, and rightfully so, it was going to be a Category 5, 170 mile per hour winds, absolutely devastating hurricane. And you have a lot of people that are asking the question, is this man-made, or is this at least maybe not man-made, but man-manipulated as far as where it's getting pushed? I have an actual interview I'll put at the end of this video that you need to check out of a guy who spent his entire career studying geoengineering. And his take is that these hurricanes are absolutely manipulated by man. You should go check it out and find out for yourself. He has all the patents for these crazy weather technologies that the government's using. So very interesting interview. Go check that out.
We have a video from Alex Jones talking about something similar, but I'd like to check out this guy's interview. I haven't actually seen the patents for this sort of thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that interview either yet.
Yeah. Well, we will maybe take a look at some point.
But here's what I really want to encourage you guys with. With Hurricane Milton, the news of Hurricane Milton coming and about to absolutely destroy the state of Florida, people started praying. In fact, my wife and I were listening in on a Zoom call the other night, right before the hurricane hit. And it was like people, hundreds of people getting on the Zoom call, praying, rebuking the storm. And what we saw happen, actually, this is pretty amazing. People all over, people of faith said, you know what? We're not receiving that bad report. We're going to go after this thing. We're not going to put our trust in the government. We're going to put our trust in God. Look at this. This is an amazing clip. Watch the eye wall of Hurricane Milton collapse as it touches land. I'll pull this thing back. So you see the hurricane over here on the left side. You see that circle? That is... I don't want to get copyright issues. But look at that. You see the hurricane wall, the eye wall? It's literally collapsing as it hits land. That's insane. Insane. You had meteorologists literally crying on TV because of how devastating this thing was supposed to be. And by the way, it still hit people. Like the hurricane still came, there was still flooding, but the amount of damage that it caused compared to what it was supposed to be, this is a miracle. Look at this. Absolute miracle. That eye wall completely dissolves before it hits land. That's amazing. It's my man, Sean Foyt. This is what he put. He said, the storm splintered into two. The eye wall collapsed. Tampa Bay was completely drained. God moved, and prayer still works. We witnessed a modern miracle of biblical proportions last night. I want you to check this out.
I agree.
Crazy.
I think there was definitely... Sorry, my volume is just... I'm not doing very good with my volume tonight. I agree. I think that was definitely a miracle. No doubt in my mind.
Yep. And I was watching Milton live, well, at work, and I came home and I was like, I want to keep watching it. And sure enough, live on, there's a live stream on here. I remember the guy's name, but he even was like, holy cow, it's like dying down to a 3 out of nowhere. Because it was level 5 right before it hit landfall, and then
Right.
it wasn't about 30 minutes or so. I don't remember. It started dying down, and then it dropped from a 5 to a 3.
Yeah.
It's literally like a supernatural wall went up right there on the edge of Florida.
Oh, I agree.
So, yeah,
I agree completely.
Definitely a miracle. And that second video I sent you is, he's another YouTuber I watch called Umar Gosh. And he recently moved to Florida. So this is like his second year, I think, living there. And he started a farm. And he grew up in Florida, but he started his own farm. So he knew how to deal with hurricanes and stuff, but he was going to ride it out with all his animals because he couldn't get his animals out. But anyways, that 20-minute video I sent you is just the Omar Gosh. Omar is his name. Riding out the Milton storm. And it's crazy. We can watch that one if you want to. We don't really need to. But it's just him. It's just a video showing, he's getting ready for the storm, and then he rides it out.
We can just send me the link, and I'll pull it up and set it up.
Oh, it's in chat. It's the FU Hurricane Milton.
Okay. Give me a minute here. Check my volume so we don't switch off again.
Yeah.
I'm glad we weren't doing a live stream. I'm glad we haven't bumped that up, started that yet. 'Cause,
Yeah, that looks pretty solid.
yeah. All right, let's see here. Click on this. And we will. Let's see. Copy and paste the link.
Yeah, the first part of the video, he just shows the damage from Helene,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes into him just getting prepared for the second one.
Yeah.
And then like it shows pretty gnarly stuff overnight. And then the next day he wakes up. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
this actually went down to a level 3 and wasn't that bad.
That's pretty awesome. Hang on just a minute here. Are we finished? Excuse me, hang on.
Oh my God, it's so bad. My God.
Trevor, are we finished with
The last one?
yeah, we finished with the last one?
Yeah, it's got it's going into he just talks more.
Okay. All right, we will close that one out then and we'll pull this one up. Let me yeah, I think it's done anyway. All right. See if my Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Great.
Can you still hear me?
Yep. So far, we're so good. We're still good. So, all right, let's pull this up and see what happens.
Oh my God, it's so bad out. My God, this is even worse than I thought. Oh my God. All my neighbors have a ton. That means that all the stuff that we left out, which wasn't a lot, it's still gonna be sitting out there. All right, so this is a little bad. I'm gonna have to rip up the drywall down here. This is the bottom part of my house that goes up to my house. And you can see we got mold starting to form. So all this has to get ripped up. Let me check the other room. Oh God, there's still a lot of water down here. Smells awful. Yeah, we got mold. We're gonna have to replace this drywall. The floors, I don't know. Might be able to work with them, but there might be mold underneath the floors. On a positive note, all of the garbage that I had outside my house, my neighbors actually took it to the dump for me. I thought that our county would have been responsible for doing that. On my way here, I saw what looked like county workers picking up debris on the side of the road. My neighbor's telling me that that's all privately funded. Our county, our government is failing our people right now. They are not picking up garbage. We're pretty much responsible for everything, and I did not think that it was gonna be that way. All right, I have to load this trailer. I might have to get back out here in the next day. These poor people probably lost their entire...
Well, that's pretty wild, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I have my
Crazy.
volume too low again. Good
Oh.
night. I will get this figured out eventually, but I gotta turn my. I'm nervous the video is gonna echo because it's so loud, so I'm having to turn my volume up and down. We'll
Oh.
figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
Little
I mean
bit at a time.
that's pretty bad.
That's just one guy, you know,
Mhm.
locally recording his experience. You know,
Like, yeah, but that goes back to our point earlier. Like, you can't hide this. You can't hide this. The media sits there and tries to hide these storms and what they can do. Well, you can't, not in the age of the internet. It's just absurd to me. So,
especially now with, you know, YouTubers and TikTokers that have millions and millions of followers, and
Right.
they're They aren't ground zero. This guy is, I don't remember what part of Florida he's in, but he's right there in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad that a miracle happened and that things were not as bad as what they said it could have been.
Yep.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.